Welcome to TradeTheNVI.com. This is John's report for the 31st of December. And, well, we've kind of flatlined going across here as the ABM is starting to move up towards price. We were expecting a little softness, which kind of what we saw when we had this crazy Ivan that I referred to in the Power Mo. But we moved back to a consistent phase here with the magenta back over. Green, meaning positive, has returned. There was a brief disruption, as you would say, in the algorithm world, and not surprising given that we're at the end of the year and changes in allocation that would be expected because you get that kind of disruption as it takes place. But overall, not a whole lot of short interest, not a lot of long-term buyer, but we definitely have decent mid-term buyers keeping things alive. And as long as green is above cyan and green is above red, it still bodes okay. Of course, the NASDAQ, much better off, modestly at least, relative to the overall market. But again, DOC is looking pretty consistent with both of those, and a full reset with the shakeout continuing to rise. So we don't see anything that's objectionable there. Euro, of course, because of the amount of U.S. stimulus in relation. It'll be interesting to see if the euro pulls back a little bit if they don't do the secondary stimulus that they were planning. Seems to be resistance, at least from the Senate Majority Leader, so that's going to hold that off from taking place. And of course, gold liking that maneuver because the impending devaluation means that that commodity is going to rise over time. From a 5K, you can see how narrow the day's range was. We had our positive extremes. I talked about them. We marked them. And sure enough, the market did exactly what we would expect it to do. I posted those, and then it's just a matter of waiting. I marked this one in blue here. I wanted to show a slight difference. I like the separations between cyan and greens, particularly when they fall below red. The difference you had in this particular case when you had that same rejection, notice the difference between the orange relationship and how that spike really generated the actual beginning of the turn. And you didn't have that similar configuration right here. It was much weaker and well below the steel. So, and that kind of reflected it. Plus you had the rising power move versus the rollover that was just beginning. You really couldn't see it when it first happened in the first bar. By the second one, clear that it was decaying, but you were below the negative 13.5 on both. It was just a difference of time. I mean, a couple of bars before it fully interacted. So it's just something to note. It's not a bad move. This, I mean, when you see it, I would take it more times than not. I just expect that I'm probably going to be several bars back and forth before it actually has its impact. And of course, came all the way back down to match the previous lows from right before here. Then, of course, in pre-market, they just shot it right back up above. So we're really pretty much middle of the range of where we were before. So all good. Indicators going out in a little while so that you'll have them. Not that there's anything going to be taking place in the next day because obviously the first holiday, and so everything will begin next week. As always, though, wish everyone a Happy New Year, and hopefully a return to some normalcy, going back to the way things were, depending on how vaccine deployment and everything starts to impact the perception of things and whether or not certain states allow more freedom. That's going to be the big question going forward. Because they're all talking about variants, and that'll be another excuse to lock everything down and tighten it back up, which would be a disaster, but that hasn't stopped them already. As always, though, I will update anything relevant as needed. Trade well, and we'll talk to you on the flip side next year.